What's going on, y'all? It's Uncle O with something to get off my chest, man. Once again, shout out to the whole Trenches News Network, my squad, and all the supporters. I had been waiting for a minute because I've been looking for this, and I finally found it. It's called The Quote by Martin Niemöller. Pronouncing that name wrong. It's got those two little dots over the O. I can't remember how to pronounce it. So if somebody want to leave that in the comments, how to properly pronounce that, because I hate getting names wrong. But it reads, first they came for the socialists, and I did not speak out because I was not a socialist. Then they came for the trade unionists, and I did not speak out because I was not a trade unionist. Then they came for the Jews, and I did not speak out because I was not a Jew. And then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak for me. And I think that was written around, World War II or something like that. And I look at how society has been systematically broken down and how it's the same thing, basically. They came for patriotism. Now, I got a few notes written here if you see me looking down. They came for the patriotism, and they came for the Christians. No prayer in school, no pledge of allegiance, no national anthems. Let's get rid of this stuff. You can't openly pray. You can't do that, But the people who didn't necessarily believe in that, oh, what's the problem? No. Then they came for the patriots. Oh, wokeism, no free speech. They want to, clamp down on this, clamp down on that. Community guidelines. You can't speak on things. You know what I mean? But for people who didn't care, well, not my problem. They came for the parents. You can't whip your children. Everything's child abuse. We're going to take them from us. You don't have any authority in the school. But, other people, well, I don't have kids. That's not my problem. They came for the military. And you've seen what's happening with the military, Then they came from men, the emasculation, third and fourth ways of feminism, the anti-patriarchy stuff now. And, they convinced so many women that every single man was against them, to where now they hate men. And simultaneously, some of them hate the whole concept of motherhood. But they came for the men, and it's like, well, that's what all you get for years of oppression. And, it's like, well, lady, I didn't even know you. Like, what did I do to you? But because of what's between my legs, boom. But now women, they've come for you now. This is kind of old, but I wanted to comment on it. When Hershey came out with their woke campaign, and they put this, I forgot, the Dylan Mulvaney, I think, instead of putting an actual woman on the candy bar, what did they do? And now more and more women are speaking out against, this new community. Well, not new community, but this, they're pushing the, trans community, and replacing women, and women are getting upset. They did it with the sports. They doing it, and they're fighting back. Obviously, they're coming for children, too. And what are you going to do? It's gotten to that point now to where, it's like what you born as is not absolute anymore, and it's being forced on you. Now they've come for you. When everything was based on our unity. You see, all these different things I just listed, it's no different than that quote or that poem that I read. It's no different. They supplanted the men in a sense, elevated the women. And again, I'm not saying this is all society, but it's enough to where, it's getting the media attention. It's getting most of the media attention to create this, because, you go to your Everytown USA, it's still just as normal. You know what I mean? So I'm not, it's not like this wide wave of it, but they are coming for it. You know what I mean? The way it affects the workplace, affects you socially, all these different things. You know what I mean? And giving this false sense of power to people who, before then were pretty obscure and mediocre, just regular people, But now they're coming for you, women. You see, we can't afford to not speak up for each other, because eventually it'll come around to you. You see how that works? Now, to be a biological male or biological female it's relative in a sense. If you leave it to science and all these different things. That's similar to You know, when they say the Nephilim were sinning against the men and women and stuff in the Bible and all that, and the birds and the animals of the field, you know, they weren't just talking about like, oh, they were sexually violating animals. And no, they were talking about splicing, gene splicing, experimenting, you know, mixing things with DNA that shouldn't be mixed. You know, now they call them cryptids and all these different things, hybrids. And, you know, you got movies that do that. You know, these modern day Nephilim who are doing these things, this is exactly what they're doing. Corrupting, you know, what was supposed to be incorruptible. Still has no hold over the human spirit, but still the attempt, the gall to do it. You know what I mean? And that's just where we're heading. And so, you know, the question is to all of us, how long are we going to stay quiet? You know, it doesn't have to always be a big rally and a march about everything. You know, it could be just in your neighborhood, in your home. You know what I mean? To not be afraid to talk down these concepts, you know, and talk about it. You know what I mean? With your children and these different things when they have the questions. You know, to go to those school board meetings if they allow you in there. You know, they don't want any, you know, back talk now. They're afraid. Probably just hide behind Zoom calls. You know what I mean? But this is where we are. How long before they come for you and there's no one to speak out? Because then speak out for anybody else. Just because a facet of life that may not necessarily relate to you, you know, it doesn't relate to you, doesn't mean that, you know, something eventually is going to affect your life. And then everyone else who could have been spoken for already gone out the way. And you got no one to speak for you. You know, that's a good lesson about unity and how we're constantly separated. People out here fighting over the crumbs. We're losing our fields, you know, losing our farms to foreign nations. Our water supply is being contaminated. And speaking about that, you know, I just saw this thing, this Minnesota, you know, nuclear plant. 400,000 gallons of water leaked into the Mississippi. The Mississippi River is a main vein for this country. Then they finally, a month later, this comes out and they say, oh, there's nothing to worry about. I was watching a documentary about Chernobyl, and that's the same thing they did with their people in Chernobyl. You know, the difference with that and the Chernobyl and this is that was a socialist country where they can do that. I guess it's really no different here if they can just blow it off. They had the people bury their crops and bury the potatoes, and they were exposed to this stuff while people in gas masks are telling these people, oh yeah, we're fine, go ahead. You know, May Day will be a few days, you know, making sure you join the parade. Not telling these people what was happening to them. Not telling them that they were getting radiated, you know, and poisoned and be dead soon. Nope. Just do what you're told, or you go to the gulag. That's basically what these, you know, corporations have done here. It's 400,000 gallons. No, so it's okay. I guess Fukushima wasn't a big deal either. You know, no big deal. You know, that'd be fine. They start growing a baby foot out their rib or something, you know. It's all right. You know, walk it off. You know, we give you some pills. No, this ain't a joke. You know what I mean? It's really not. You know, that kind of callousness to just not tell people who knows what's affected, you know, let alone the chemical spill in Ohio, and I think there was one in Illinois, you know. Don't it seem kind of systematic, like, you know, we're, you know, soft targets are being attacked or sabotaged to just break us down to where the resources be less and less as the money supply runs out and the supplies run out and people become much colder. You know, I'm not a doomsayer or nothing like that. I just, you know, you see the writing on the wall and you just see things, you know, this, you know, may not be some part of some big other plan or anything like that, but it's just not good. You know, it's just bad juju. Me personally, yes, I have a bad feeling about things. You know, all I can go on is, you know, faith and, you know, my will to live, my will to survive. You know, things are kind of just going as is, but I'm sure a lot of you just feel like something is just off, you know, just in the world in general, but just off here in this nation too, you know, just with people, your spirit, you know, is something just like it is. This is nudging, you know, you may not sleep as soundly as you used to. Could be not. But, I'm kind of going on a tangent. So this just goes back to, when they do come for you, who's going to be able to speak out? We need to stick together, people. And that's all I had to get off my chest. Y'all stay blessed.